Hello, welcome back to Stranded Deep on the PS4 console. Today we're going to be talking about custom islands. Now, a lot of you haven't subscribed. About 90% of the people that watch my videos haven't yet subscribed. It would be great to get you on board. So give that subscribe button a little tickle right now, and then let's get into this. So if you go onto the cartographer, this is where you can do your custom map making, and you will be presented with three options on the right: world editor, random world, and new island. To the left you will have the map. A little thing to take note of: the north of the map is to the northeast. As you can see, it's in the top right corner, so that will throw you off a little bit in game, so just be aware of that. It will kind of throw you off. You have 25 square tiles, and this is 21 different islands, and the center red island is the square that you will start off. Mine isn't red in the center because what happens is if you go to another island and save, so I went north one square and saved, that's why that island is red right there. So if you move to another island and save your game, you can come back to this cartographer. You can see exactly where you are. You will be on the red square island tile. So there are 21 different island tiles. Like I say, the square one will start off red, but if you save your game anywhere else, then it will change to that location. The 4 red skulls are as follows: 3 are bosses and 1 is an end game area. You can't customize them, but you can change their locations at the beginning by changing the whole world seed in random world editor, but that will give you a brand new world. So basically you'll be starting off from scratch, so just be careful when changing that, because it will delete all your progress if you've made any in game. If you haven't made any, then you can check some good seeds online for your console, and then you can put them in so you already have a decent seed. It's pretty much a preset world, if you get what I'm saying. And then if you want to customize the other 21 islands, you can do this one at a time. You can go onto new island and customize your very own island. PC has a great thing going where you can import other players' custom built islands. It's not available on consoles yet, and it's kind of basic design on consoles, as apparently all the loading in is a bit hectic for consoles, so they can't really deal with that. I'm not sure how true that is, but that's what I've heard. But it would be great if the console players can customize much more unique islands, kind of like it is on PC. So if you want to customize your starter island, you can do this, but first off you'll have to travel to another island, save your game so your character is off the starter island in the center, and then you can go into new world and then customize the center tile. That's how you would do that. When I say new world, I meant new island. That's what you want to click on, and that's what you click on if you're gonna customize your island. So let's get into this. Sorry I've dragged on for 4 minutes, but I just wanted to explain everything before continuing, because I don't want people doing this and then deleting their previous island and stuff. So then if you go on here and we are on terrain, you can edit the size of your island, so bigger or smaller. You've got minimum height and maximum height, and you can change all these and then just hit X to apply the change. And if you push square on PS4, you can go in and zoom around your island to get a much better feel of how it looks from all different angles, so that's a nice feel to it. And then if you click on this change shape, you will change the shape. But if you tick it as well, you can toggle whether you want to change it or not. So the shape could remain the same, but you can like make it flatter or more bumpy if you tick or untick that. so just be aware of that. And if you start adding items, you can't go back and then change the shape. Once the shape's like done, you won't be able to like add loads of trees and then go back and try and change the shape. It will get rid of all your trees and everything, so just keep that in mind also. But if you have a play around with this, you can create different islands, so you can have like a little bay, sort of what we've got going on here, and you can just have different sort of mountains or whatever, a little tiny island off of it. Just keep smash and change and you will get a lot of different shapes to play with. It's quite fun. So going on to items then, you will want to add all the good items, but you will be limited. Like I say, the consoles are limited to what you can add, but I try and add all these items because you will need them all, so I try and add as many of these as I can. But what you could do is your home island, you could add a bunch of trees and make it look nice, and then all the other islands around is where you could just flood it with resources. So potentially you would never run out of resources, because you could just keep editing islands and keep planting tons and tons of resources. And then obviously when you make your home island, you want to add loads of trees and make it look nice. That's just a tip anyway, I thought I'd throw that one in there. Also there's a lock button. If you push triangle, it locks the items in place, so when you keep applying it, they will change location. But if you've locked them in, they won't change location. You will notice them floating as well, like these bits of scrap, wood and scrap is just floating around. Don't worry, when you go into game they will drop down, they won't be floating around there forever, they will fall to the ground. Moving on to the trees, like I say, it is quite limited and they're quite harsh with this. I'll show you in a second. If you add loads and loads of trees, it will say this can't be done and it will reset your trees what you've just added in. It's quite frustrating, but that is how it does it. So let's just take away all this and I'll add a few trees and you will still see it. It will still tell me I've added way too many stuff. So here we go, you can just add the trees and lock them in. Like once you add the trees in, keep hitting X and they will keep moving round, and once they're in a good position, make sure you lock them in. Otherwise they will just keep moving and you'll lose them. Like you'll get them in a nice position and then move them again. But you can run through all the different trees to make your island looking nice and sexy. Obviously not my island, because this doesn't look sexy. And just another little tip, you do want 2, maybe even 3 yucca plants. So I put 3 on mine, and lots of these young palm trees, because they will give you endless amounts of fibrous leaves, and you need them for crafting. You can even use them for your fire and collecting water with these also. So they keep respawning every 2 days, so I advise chucking them on your home island at least. So this is the message you will get to limited island space, blah blah blah. So if you've put too much on your island, that's the message you will receive, and you will just have to take some stuff off. It's a bit of a pain because you can't have like the most tropical island going. You're limited to what you can put on there until they update it, of course. So if this happens, you will have to take some off in order to add other things. Moving on to the rocks. Now if you're planning to build big clay houses, or even you want to craft some nice clay flasks, then you do want to add some of these clay rocks. And a little tip, you can just scroll around and look for them. There's one right here, and then take note when you're in game, because when you are in game they are pretty hard to see in amongst all the corals. So just take note of where they spawn. You can obviously change where they spawn to by tapping the X button. This is where you add all the cliffs and rocks. I'm not sure, let me know in the comments, does the bird eggs spawn on top of them, because that would be good to know on the custom islands. I know they do normally, but just on custom islands it'd be nice to know which ones the bird eggs spawn on. And obviously you can go into the into the map to look to see if you can climb up these too and get on top of them. So just go into the view and look around and see if you can climb up on them and stuff, and just see the layout of them. Obviously you can toggle all that. Spawning in animals, if you want the 2 of every land animal, then you obviously want a lot of boars, snakes and crabs spawned in. And this shipwrecks is good. This is amazing for the crates. If you want those crates with the rare loot in, I've made a video on how to decide which loot you get, so make sure you check that out too. But this boat is absolutely awesome for loot. You have so much loot in this, it is unreal. On the deck you will have, like I had loads of those buoys to make the raft base, and you will have like tires inside of it, and just all sorts of stuff, like crates. In all the lockers you have loot. It's just amazing. And looking out from afar, they're good to pinpoint your island from a long distance, especially that other sort of post sticking out the water. It's a good point of view to locate your island also. Oh, and one other extra tip on this: keep spawning it till most of it's out of the water, because I noticed on my custom island most of it was out of the water and it was really easy to loot, but some of it was still hard to loot even though it was poking out the water quite a lot. So if it's really deep in the water, I would recommend trying to lift it out of the water more by keep spawning it to a different location. That way it makes it a lot more easier to loot. It depends if you want to make the game harder or easier, I guess, but that's just what I recommend. So let me know in the comments if I've missed anything, and also if you've enjoyed this one, then drop me a like and let me know you've enjoyed it. And also don't forget to tickle that subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications, that way you don't miss any more uploads. And if you've enjoyed this also, you can check out some of my other helpful content, and I've got a whole playlist on Stranded Deep on the PS4, and it's continuing to grow. So thanks for all your support, I appreciate it massively. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.